So due to the closure of City Hall by the COVID-19 pandemic, we are hosting the neighborhood meeting virtually. This meeting will be recorded and it will be posted to the project webpage for anyone who's unable to attend this meeting, or if you'd like to go back and rewatch the meeting. If you're unable to attend the meeting, please send any questions, comments, or concerns to me, and I can be reached at 425-556-2411 or czapata@redmond.gov, which is shown at the end of this presentation, and it's also posted to the project website. While the presentation is occurring, we do ask that participants remain on mute to avoid any audio interference. And once the presentations have been concluded, we'll open the meeting for any questions from the audience. And I'm admitting a few more people to the room. I'm going to just go over this information again so everyone can hear. Maybe I'll wait a few more minutes so that any stragglers I can let in. And sorry, I was too anxious to start. And I'll wait one more minute. Okay, I'm going to get started again. I'm just going to go over my introduction for anyone that missed it the first time. I think I started too early, and with the technological difficulties, I thought it was a good idea to wait. So hello and welcome to the December 8th neighborhood meeting for LMC South Park, Master Plan Development Agreement and Site Plan Entitlement. The project number is LAND 2020-00029 and LAND 2020-00030. My name is Cameron Zapata. I'm a senior planner at the City of Redmond, and I'm part of the review team reviewing this project for compliance with our city codes. And I'll be facilitating tonight's meeting and fielding any questions from meeting attendees at the end of the presentations. Due to the closure of City Hall by the COVID-19 pandemic, we're hosting the neighborhood meeting virtually. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted to the project webpage for anyone who is unable to attend the meeting. And if you are unable to attend the meeting, please send any questions, comments, or concerns to me, and I can be reached at 425-556-2411 or by email at czapata@redmond.gov. And that will be shown at the end of this presentation, and then it's also going to be shown on the project webpage. And while this presentation is occurring, we ask that all participants remain on mute to avoid any audio interference. And once the presentations have concluded, we'll open up the meeting to questions from the audience. All right, and with that, I'll get started. So here's an overview of what I'll be presenting. We're here today to talk about the LMC South Park Master Plan Development Agreement and Site Plan Entitlement. I'll be going over the Type 5 permit process more, and then I'll hand it over to the applicant team to speak more to the project itself. So we'll get started with introductions. Again, I'm Cameron Zapata. I'm a senior planner at the City of Redmond, and I also have some city review staff. Let's see, it looks like I have Andy Chow. And I also have the applicant team. Brad, if you'd like to introduce your team.
Sorry about that, took a minute to get off mute. Yeah, thanks. So I am Brad Matchett with LMC. We're the project developer. On the team on screen, you're seeing Bruce Canan, project architect, as well as Blair Stone. You're also seeing Peter Nelson with our landscape architecture. And then we also have representatives from KPFF, 10W, our traffic engineer, KPFF being our civil engineer, on the call as well to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Brad.
Yep.
And so we'll first jump into what is a master plan. It's usually for larger project sites at least 3 acres in size. It's used if the development occurs in phases. It provides clarity for the city and the applicant by setting long-term conditions. And then it also benefits from long-term planning if there are complex site issues. And what is a development agreement? It's a contract between the city and the developer which details the obligations for both parties and specifies standards and conditions that govern the development. It's also used as a vesting tool for development regulations, which has a maximum lifespan of 20 years, and a public benefit is also required. And so where is the project at in the process now? So the project came in through our PREP process, which stands for Pre-Review Entitlement Process, where the applicant submits their project in 3 rounds for review. And city review staff reviews the project for compliance issues. Disciplines that are involved are typically fire, transportation, utilities, stormwater, and planning. And the project has gone through 2 rounds of prep review and design review board, and it's currently in its 3rd round of prep review. After this 3rd round of prep review, the next step will be for the applicant to address all of staff's comments and issues and submit their full application for their formal review. From there, it'll get reviewed by staff again for compliance. After the application is accepted for that formal review, the notice of application will get mailed out and posted to the project site, which will begin its public comment period. And this is when you'd see the yellow notice boards and receive a mailing if you're an interested party or if you're located within the Marymore Design District. The project will also go through the design review board process for its formal recommendation, which is another area where you're able to participate and provide feedback on the design of the project. You'll also receive the SEPA determination when the project gets to that point in the project process. And that'll also include a comment and appeal period, which is another opportunity to provide any feedback or comments on the project. There will be another neighborhood meeting during the formal application, and the date of that is to be determined. But you should receive the notice for the neighborhood meeting in the mail if you're located in the Marymore Design District zone or are an interested party. This neighborhood meeting, the notice of application, the SEPA determination notice, and design review board are great opportunities to share your thoughts on the project and any questions, any concerns, any comments. After the project has been reviewed formally, the project will go through our internal technical committee meeting for their recommendation to the City Council, who's the decision maker on the project. And the technical committee is comprised of the planning director and the public works director. If it's recommended for approval, the project will then be scheduled for a public hearing with the City Council, which is another time where comments can be submitted. And from there, if council is comfortable enough with the project to make a decision, it'll then go back to the council for their final decision at a public hearing. After that decision has been made by the City Council, the project can be appealed within 21 days of the decision to the King County Superior Court. So this diagram outlines the process. It also in blue shows where you can participate, where you can provide us with any comments, questions, concerns on the project. So that is our type 5 process. And this is my contact information. Again, this presentation, the video for the presentation, and the questions and comments that come up, I will be recording, and I will be posting them to the web. So if you have anything that comes up after this meeting, I am happy to answer them. Next, I have Brad, and he'll go through his presentation on the project.
Thanks, Cameron. Just give me a moment to share my screen here. All right, can I get a thumbs up that this presentation is showing? Great, thanks, Blair. All right, so again, thank you for joining. I'm Brad Matchett, the development manager for LMC, the proponent of this project. LMC is working, this is our second community that we're building in this neighborhood. We are hard at work under construction just to the north of this site on our first community, a 3-building, 450 apartment community adjacent to the new light rail station that's going in, the Whole Foods, and the King County Parks Trail System just to the northeast of this. So very excited about the neighborhood and to keep growing here. My plan on this presentation is just to run through some of the imagery of what we've developed, and then just give a quick overview of what the program and site plan is for what we're proposing. So really briefly, in terms of neighborhood context, this is adjacent to Merrimore Park to the south on the bottom of the page, and it is bordering Northeast 67th Court to the north. Next up, this is looking towards the south into Merrimore Park. Again, that context, the street out in front, that's Northeast 67th, that already exists. The parking lot, that is the Evangelical Chinese Church parking lot, directly to the north of us. And then our proposed development with 2 buildings, and then to the south is Merrimore Park. So this view, a few just renderings that we have been developing as we develop the building. This is our latest design that we've brought through the Redmond Design Review Board. I think our 3rd meeting with them as we develop the plan here. This is the northeast corner of the site as viewed from the street. Next, a image. This is looking at the center of the north side of the site. This is looking into the cut between the 2 buildings we're proposing, and one kind of major feature of the project, and that is what we're calling an art walk or art alley between the 2 buildings. So you're seeing that highlighted in the center with the festival lighting, the art on the side of the building, this kind of blue mural, that's representational, and public access all the way down and through that sort of experiential zone of the project. This is a little tighter in view of that. So this is looking to the south, extending between the 2 buildings along this art alley that we're proposing. Next, just in terms of building character, this is what we're proposing for the west of the two buildings. This is the far west side of the project, proposing a very kind of clean, modern, simplistic brick building, very elegant, with some natural wood accents to it. And then looking in, just equally as important, looking north from Marymore Park. This is a view that we've created for what the community would look like as viewed from the edge of the park, looking north. So our plan with the community is to essentially extend the park to the north and create this mixing zone where the residential and commercial neighborhood of Marymore Village starts to merge with the very quiet and peaceful nature of Marymore Park, and to be able to blend those two at the edge of the project here. This next view is similar, also from the south side looking in. This picks up the tail end of the art walk as viewed from the other side, and spilling down into a big public plaza with some children's play elements, some adult play and relaxation elements, and generally public accessible and programmed for folks to relax, congregate, gather, and really enjoy the outdoor connection here. For context, this is out of our DRB package. This is just some materiality as context for that west building. And then to sort of sum it all up, diving in, this is our site plan. So a number of highlights, as I mentioned, starting, I guess, with number one in the northwest corner of the site, a large public plaza that we're proposing, set a group of stairs, seating group leading up into that number two, as I described, that public art walk, leading down and through the site. Number three, that was that last rendering I just showed, the sort of natural play and gathering area there on the south side of the site. We are also proposing a series of community gardens. Those are represented in area number 4. Those would be open to the public, little pea patches. Item number 5, more residential courtyards, and those would be for the residents of this community. As you move through, item number 6, that's a neighborhood trail. We'd be building part of it, and the expectation is that it would then extend as other parcels developed, both east and west of this site. But the beginning of a community trail all the way around Marymore Village. And then I know all the renderings showed them, but just a little bit of context. We are proposing to build new, or based on the city code and an adopted plan, we're building new roads on both the east and west side of the site, 73rd and 74th. Those are represented there as number 8. Those are anticipated to be more Woolnorth, lower volume, lower speed neighborhood roads, kind of mixed use, and provide sort of connectivity on both sides of the site directly down to Marymore Park, both visually and for sort of multimodal transit. Zooming in a little tighter, this is just a little more detail on proposed landscaping elements within that art walk. So just to get a context for how the site would feel with that stadium stairs I described, a lot of wood elements, a lot of natural elements, our intent being that this is sort of rich and vibrant community. Same sort of zoomed in view here on the south side with this big publicly accessible amenity zone, with the children's play, some quiet relaxation areas, the community gardens, and so forth. The idea being is that this is really a gathering place, outdoor for the community to use and border the park and kind of add to that experience. So that is our proposal and the end of my presentation. I'm happy to open it to any questions beyond that.
Thank you, Brad.
Yeah.
So we'll now open it up to questions from the audience. And if you could please raise your hand by clicking on the raised hand button in the Zoom screen and clicking on the hand. Please help me keep track by stating your name clearly before asking your questions. All questions are a matter of public record and they will be incorporated into the decision document. So if you wish to be a party of record and receive notification on future neighborhood meetings, the public hearing for the project, and when a decision is made, please state your mailing address for the record. And if you don't wish to provide your mailing address on video, then you can, but you still want to be a party of record, please reach out to me separately via telephone. Again, my phone number is 425-556-2411 or email at czapata@redmond.gov. A physical mailing address will be required to be considered a party of record. And again, my contact information is on the project webpage and will also be included in the presentation. So if you didn't get a chance to jot that down, it'll be posted to the website. Are there any questions that we can help to answer?
Well, I don't know where you can raise your hand, but I do have a question.
Sure.
Timeline for the project. Is there any stated element of how long this project will take and when it will start based on the process?
Sure. So the project is in the prep process. So again, that pre-review entitlement process. So it's currently in its third round of review. And after that, the applicant team will need to address any outstanding issues and comments by city staff to then submit their formal application. From there, it gets reviewed again. And so then the decision maker, it has to go through a few rounds of decision or people who recommend. So we have the design review board that makes the recommendation on the design to our technical committee. And then our technical committee will make the recommendation to city council. And so that city council timeline from the time that you receive the notice of application, it can vary. It is a little bit longer. It could take a couple months to get to that approval point. I don't have an exact date for you, but if you do want to be a party of record, feel free to email me or call me and provide me with your contact information so then I can keep you appraised of when the next neighborhood meeting would be and when the public hearing will be, because then you could get a greater sense of when that project is up for approval.
Thank you.
Let's see, Brian Woodruff.
Hi, thank you. Yes, Brian Woodruff. I am a business that is currently located at the.
Can you speak up a little bit? I'm having trouble hearing you.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
It's still a little faint.
Hello?
Okay, that's a tiny bit better, yes.
Okay. Yes, I am a business that is affected by this project. We are currently housed at 17371 Northeast 67th Court. I will send you my contact information through email. I am curious what the plan is to, assuming this project goes through, what is the plan for notification? We've got a bunch of businesses that are going to be dislocated as a result of this. I'm only one of them. There's several in this complex. Thank you.
So through the city side, you will receive the notices that I had just went over with Scott. So you would get the notice of application for when the project actually comes to the city formally, and then you'll also get the SEPA determination, and then also the public hearing notice. Brad, do you have any other information that you can provide?
Yeah, I mean, I guess tagging on to both question and concern there. You know, I would encourage, I think first, the land sellers here, you know, I want to make sure that I'm being respectful of them and the fact that you are, you know, the tenants there. But, you know, they have a pretty good sense of what the timing is here, and I'd encourage you to reach out to the landlord for that information. You know, as far as our intent on timing, like Cameron was saying, you know, we're moving through the process with the expectation that we would be wrapping up our permitting and being in the position to build this community come late 2020 or early 2021. So that's sort of our timeline. As far as timeline related to occupancy, you know, encourage you to again reach out to the owners there at this point.
Do you mean late 2021? It is late 2020 right now.
Yes, thank you. I'm off by an entire year. Appreciate that clarification.
Great.
That would be a miracle if we were about to start construction.
It'd be quite a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, you and me both.
Are there any other questions or comments about the project that we can help to answer?
I had one other question. Will these residential units be permanent ownership, or will they be rental facilities?
This is being planned. That's probably a question for me. This is being planned as a rental community. That's our business. We build these and we own them long term. So, you know, strong vested interest in you know, quality from the outset, and then ongoing maintenance, and a, you know, big stake in the neighborhood long term. So yes, but to answer your question, they are rental apartments.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
And I guess, Cameron, just to put out there, I don't think I mentioned in my presentation, just general statistics. You asked about it. I didn't mention this is 284, I believe, homes right now. That's the overall plan. I don't think I put that in my presentation, so a little clarity there.
Thank you. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions or comments. And so I can wrap up the meeting if there are no other points that anyone wants to make. Again, this presentation is being recorded, and so if you know of anyone who wasn't able to attend, this will be posted to the project website, hopefully within the week. I've also wrote down all the questions and that came up, so I'll be typing those up and providing the responses. Those will be posted to the web. And then if you can think of any questions in the future or any concerns or anything that you feel that the city needs to know about, again, my contact information is on the project website. If you have specific questions on the project, I believe Brad's contact information, it's also in this presentation. It should be on the neighborhood meeting notice as well. So again, if anything comes up and you're thinking about this project late at night, feel free to email or call, and we'll get back to you with our responses. Brad, do you have anything else to add?
No. happy to answer any questions or take any feedback you may have. So feel free to reach out, like Cameron said.
And in the future, you will be receiving all those notices that I went over. So plenty of time to provide any questions or comments on the project. So thank you all for attending. I really appreciate your time and willingness to answer or ask any questions.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks.
So.